I haven't done that in a while, so sit on it. Sit on it. Who used to say sit on it? I'll leave that trivia question for you guys out there. Which television star used to tell people to sit on it? All right. What are we going to talk about today? The battle over bump stocks continues. And before you say, I don't care about bump stocks, stop. Here's the deal. The battle over bump stocks is not about bump stocks. What? Yes, I'll explain. We got a Brownell's bullet points for you freaks and freakettes. We've got a student of the gun homeroom. Talk about being dangerous on demand. Jared, one of our fans sent in an answer to our what's a phraseology for fixing people, because we say dangerous on demand and we wanted it opposite.
Oh, awesome.
He said curative in a crunch.
Curative in a crunch. That's
a lot of syllables, you know.
Curative in a crunch. It's like dangerous on demand. It's the same amount.
I kind of like it. So we're going to do all of that and more. Oh, and are Southern gun laws based on racism? I don't know. But Zach's going to play the music. Then we're going to come back and talk about it.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I got a lot of things to say today. So let's start at the very beginning. Let people know that there's a Q&A at the end of the show. Tell them to ask their questions. There you go. I just did. So I haven't listened to Bill Burr in a while. I had to stop listening to him, although I probably could again, Zach, because you know why?
Why? What happened?
Because it's summertime. And the idiot football season crap is over.
Oh, yeah, that.
And I don't have to listen to Bill Burr talk about the National Felons League and DARPA.
Yeah.
So I could probably listen to him again, because that was the thing that annoyed me the most. Is he's still in the let's talk about these overpaid felons.
Well, he's a comedian. He doesn't give a poop.
Oh, he does give a.
Well, yeah.
Bill Burr has strong opinions
about certain things.
He doesn't try to keep it middle of the road so as not to offend.
Yeah,
that's not Bill Burr.
Like, well, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the football thing. Plus, if he did, his wife would be mad at him.
He says his wife is like a big NFL supporter.
No, but she supports the people who are in the NFL.
Felons?
Yes.
And Democrats?
You don't know much about her and his wife, do you?
Yeah, I do. I think you're being racist by saying that. You're just assuming that all black people support felons, and that's racist.
I've listened to a lot of the times where she's guest starred on the show. And like she's all in freaking Neely Afro Bros corner.
Oh, what's his nuts?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, Copernic.
I have no idea.
Copernic. She's all.
What's going on right now?
Kaepernick.
She's all in for Copernicus.
Yeah.
Who was raised Copernicus, who was taken in and raised by two white parents.
Yeah.
Well, how dare they? How dare they?
Hey, Scott.
I hope they apologized. All right, Brownell's Bullet Points is brought to you by whom?
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around what just happened.
By Brownell's. Boom. B-I-N-G-O. B-I-N-G-O. B-I-N-G-O, and bingo was his name. Oh, so we said that we was gonna hit on this hard on Wednesday, and we are gonna hit on it hard. So Brownells, in case you haven't been paying attention, in case you're not subscribed to the newsletter, what did they announce recently, Jared? They're gonna support the Second Amendment by how?
They're donating a portion of sales to Firearms Policy Coalition.
But sales of what?
Pulling up the release right now. Do, do, do.
Sales of
This
littering
is interesting. I can't read.
littering and
I don't know what's what?
sales of made in the USA products.
Okay, there we go.
That's what we're looking for. The answer was, Alex, what is made in the USA? That's correct for 200. All right, so Brownells is donating 2% of the sale of made in America products, America, from June 21st to July 5th. And if you go to the website and you click on that, well, guess what it does? It takes you to a list of made in the USA products that are eligible. So if you buy those products, they will donate 2% of the profits to whom, Jared?
Firearms Policy Coalition.
That's right. That's right. To FPC, to fight against the communists and socialists and totalitarians in our government. And like I said on Monday, unless you want to be fighting in the streets with your children at your feet, you need to be doing it in the courts. Otherwise, well, if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, and actually the lead story to this show kind of fits in perfectly with this discussion. So if you guys buy, let's see, an AR-15, a KP-15 complete lower, if you buy a Polymer 80, Brownells exclusive branded, they made for them, Polymer 80 lower, you can buy that. That one's out of stock. That one's out of stock. Apparently, people are not afraid. Yeah, I think some people are like, oh, there is one in stock. Okay, they've got a PF 940 V2, 80% lower for $149.99. It's a Brownells exclusive. If you buy that, they'll donate 2%. Magpul products, obviously Brownells products because, well, Brownells makes Brownells products in America. Bolt carrier groups, Colt bolt carrier groups. You know that you need one. Polymer 80, or I'm sorry, BRN 180 complete uppers. If you're not hip with the BRN 180, you should be. So, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, here's what I'm telling you. Brownells puts their money where their mouth is. They're not just telling you to support the Second Amendment and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They are telling you that they are going to do it too. Because believe it or not, your government takes your money and uses the money that they take from you in an attempt to enslave you. And in order to fight that, you have to have your own money. You're like, that's kind of crazy. So they take our money and pay people to come up with rules and laws and restrictions and bans and all that to restrict our liberties. Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. And until we decide as a country to, well, basically reset back to the constitutional republic that the United States of America is supposed to be and was designed to be, that is the issue that of which we will have to deal. So there you go.
Hey, Zach, there's a video on the page that I just posted in there. It's Pete Brownell delivering a message, and I would like to play that if you can.
Absolutely.
It's 4 minutes long. It's on the Brownells. This is the Second Amendment Action Center. There's a link directly to this page in the show notes. So go there and watch this video, but Zach's about to play it for you.
All right, so listen up. Please. And thank you.
Well, he just sprung this on me. I can't do it immediately. Give me a second.
Okay. All right. Well, just,
all right.
whenever you can.
Good. Time?
Yeah,
estimated time?
I'm noting the time, and as soon as I reset, nope, damn, it's one of those ones you can't do that. All right, and 3, 2, wait, let me unmute. There we go. 3, 2.
These past few weeks have been filled with significant risks to the Second Amendment as we exercise this right in America today. And it's time to take action. Biden's first executive order directed the ATF to address what is known as 80% frames. Their attempt proposed an alarming series of changes to federal firearms regulations. The new rules would expand the definition of what constitutes a firearm frame or receiver, or what constitutes a weapon, a suppressor, or privately made firearms. The proposal would give the government the authority to declare simple firearm parts, bolt carriers, pistol slides, and upper receiver as firearms as well. This is a tremendous overreach. Just imagine filling out a 4473 to buy a bolt carrier. This latest executive order effectively eliminates pistol braces as we know them. This EO institutes a subjective point system to determine if your firearm is a short-barreled rifle or not. Overnight, you could be a felon by violating NFA rules, with the only option of confiscation or costly registration or modification of your firearm. None of these changes would affect crime, but they would certainly negatively impact our right to make, modify, customize, or even own firearms. Worse, though, is that these rules are worded to be flexible enough to allow bureaucrats, not elected lawmakers, to arbitrarily adapt them to whatever manner is politically expedient for the party that holds our White House. All of this comes at the same time President Biden's nominated David Chipman to be our new ATF director. Chipman is on record advocating for things like banning so-called assault rifles, regulating semi-automatic firearms as machine guns, or requiring burdensome gun registration, licensing, and taxing schemes. And more than once, he has mocked gun owners with condescending and derogatory comments. At his Senate confirmation hearing recently, Mr. Chipman was unable to define the term assault weapon. He knows what his definition is, of course. He said it many times while working with Gabby Giffords and with Michael Bloomberg. He just didn't want to answer that question in front of Congress and the American people. And why should he? If the ATF's rule changes go through, he could define quote-unquote assault weapons any way he wants and force the agency to abide by it. No single individual should hold the keys to our Second Amendment, but that's precisely what Biden wants. Still, there's hope. ATF rule changes must be open to public comment for 90 days, and that time is right now. This moment is your opportunity to give the ATF your input. David Chipman is not yet the ATF director either, so there's still time to influence your senators regarding his confirmation. Remember, the Senate is split 50-50, and confirmations do not require filibuster-proof majority. We just need one reasonable Democrat to side with freedom. If the vote is split along party lines, Vice President Kamala Harris gets to break that tie. So the importance of contacting your senators cannot be overstated. Let me be clear. These proposed rules and the nomination of Chipman will not and are not intended to reduce violence. Rather, it is all about keeping firearms out of the hands of law-abiding citizens like you and me. I'm calling on each and every one of you to let your voices be heard. Get your family and friends to join you. It will only take a few minutes of your time. America needs your help. Visit the links provided and join me in giving respectful feedback to ATF on their proposed rule changes. And I urge you to give your senator a call to reject the nomination of David Chipman as ATF director.
All right. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much, Pete Brownell. That was Pete Brownell of Brownells. What's Pete's title now?
Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board. The chairman of the board. That's right. Now that Sinatra's gone, I went to him. So there you go. You guys heard it. Support our friends at Brownells. They support you. They are fighting hard for your rights. Right. Moving on. Duracoat. Why? Why should a Duracoat?
Because life is too short to have an ugly gun.
That's right. Life is too short to have an ugly gun, freaks. Go to DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, man, man. Do you need sometimes you're dragging along and you need a swift kick in your butt. You just need a little oomph, right? say yes. Well, if that is the case, our boys at SWAT Fuel still have the 9mm plus P endurance formula in stock. It's on sale right now. Go to SWATfuel.com. You will not be sad that you did. All right, moving on. It is Wednesday, and every Wednesday, Zach has something for you guys to hear, and I want you to perk up your ears and listen.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the Pimp Hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself.
All right, that is fantastic. Thank you very much, Zach, for reminding everyone what they can and should do. All right, moving on. Every Wednesday, we do a Student of the Gun homeroom brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. And what is the themology behind, well, Crossbreed Holsters homeroom? What do we talk about? We call it being what?
Dangerous on demand.
Dangerous on demand. That's right.
Curative in a crunch.
Curative in a crunch. Since Dangerous on Demand is all about carrying guns, we thought we would talk a little bit today about what's going down in Alabama. That after the awesome theme song. Yes, indeed. Dangerous on demand. What is that all about? What are you talking about, Paul? Dangerous on demand. Well, that means actually carrying your gun. All right. Having a gun attached to your body. And like I do right now, I've got the Reckoning holster on with the ubiquitous G48 in it. And you guys are bored with me talking about it already. Like, you always do that. You're always wearing a gun. You always have it on you. And I'm bored with that. Okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. If you don't have your gun on, you should feel weird. Right? You should feel that tinge of uneasiness. That's where I want you to get mentally. If you have it now, that's the thing with new gun owners or new gun wearers or whatever. The first time they put a gun on, they're like, they notice it. It's constantly there. But what I want you to do is to get the opposite. I want you to develop a habit so that if you're about to leave the house without your gun, you say, I'm going to go back in and put it on. But I'm just going to the store for blank. Nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to the grocery store, just going out to eat with my family, just going to the movies, just going to the mall, just going to church. Nothing bad ever happens in any of those places. Right, Jared?
Right. Correct.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're going to church or the mall or grocery shopping or whatever, nothing bad will happen to you there. Except it will. So carry your freaking gun. All right. What is going on in Alabama? In Greenbow, Alabama.
Well, according to the news story, which the title of this thing is incorrect, but whatever, it says lifetime Alabama pistol permits won't be available until sometime in 2022. Those of you that have been listening for a while, and well, for the newest listeners that have joined us, what they mean by pistol permit is a concealed carry permit, not a permit to buy a pistol.
Yeah. So, but this is dated the 28th of June, so it's pretty new.
Yep. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey has signed a new law that creates a lifetime concealed carry permit for handgun owners. It's usually a steady flow of people getting a pistol permit renewed at the Mobile County Sheriff's Office. The prospect of a lifetime permit for some is an issue of convenience. This is a quote from Larry Cochran. Larry Cochran says, "Save me the trouble of being out in the sun right now doing this." As he walked into the MSCO headquarters to renew his pistol permit. It does get pretty hot down there during the summertime
Well, it's true.
in Alabama.
South, it's supposed to be hot.
According to a statement from Mobile County, the Mobile County's sheriff, says the Sheriff Association agreed to it and supported the bill. However, nothing can be done until the database is completed, and that is the responsibility of the state. This database will include all who currently hold permits and those who would be prohibited. A strong demand for lifetime permits is expected next year.
Is it 2021?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time just flies. Sergeant John Spivey with the sheriff's office says, I think it will be very popular. We have a lot of people that renew 5 years at a time. The Alabama handgun owners won't have to wait a lifetime for a lifetime permit, but they'll have to wait a while longer. No county will issue the permit until sometime in 2022. First, ALEA is required to create a statewide database. That would then be accessible by all sheriff's offices in the state. Some gun owners say the permit process only hinders the law abiding. Says Dakota Williams here, who is a permit holder, says, so the ability to get a lifetime permit for those of us who are responsible gun owners and only want to use it for good intended purposes, I think it's going to be a good thing in the long run and cost effective for those who care about the law.
Okay. All right.
According to the text of the bill, the cost is $300 for people 59 and under, half that for people 60 and up. Some worry that the high cost could be too expensive. Others argue it's worth it. ALEA's database is supposed to be up and running by October. Alabama gun laws haven't seen this much overhaul since 2013. That was when the state approved the so-called omnibus gun bill that streamlined the permit process and expanded some gun rights.
So, you guys know what all this is about, right? You're like, what is this nonsense about extending the permit? And it's already now I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and I think the omnibus bill changed Alabama from a may issue to a shall issue. You see, because for the longest time, Alabama had a process. Super easy process, relatively. You went to the senior law enforcement official in your county, and you went before him and you said, I want a permit to carry concealed. And he said, all right, you're a cool dude. Give me some money. Give me $10 or $20 and I'll give it to you. I know this for a fact because in like 87 or 88, I can't remember the exact time, I was with a good friend of mine who is a resident of Alabama, and I was with him when we went into the police department, and he said, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, hey, man, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I want to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, here you go. They gave him a one-page form. He filled it out, gave them the money. They filled out the card right there and handed it to him. He took it and said, thanks, put it in his wallet, and we walked out. That was it. But that was May issue. That was, you get it if you're a cool dude and the chief or the sheriff thinks you're a cool dude. If the sheriff doesn't think you're a cool dude, then the answer is no, go away. Of course, the situation that I'm describing happened in a very rural, small community, not Mobile or Huntsville or whatever. Where you're more than likely to run into bureaucrats. They're like, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. And the answer is no, go away. So check me if I'm wrong, guys. But, Jared, can we do that? Alabama changes to shall issue. I believe that was part of that. Now, the reason that we say, well, what is the deal with this lifetime permit crap?
Yeah, it was 2013 is when it's one of the benefits was shifts the current may issue concealed carry permit system to a shall issue permit system.
Okay, so I was correct. All right. So they shifted from may issue to shall, which means they can only say no if they have a bona fide reason, but they still get their money. And you still have to go through the process, fingerprints, photographs, all that stuff. So why the push for this lifetime thing? Do you know why, Jared? Or can you guess?
No.
Because the forces that the pro-gun, pro-2A, pro-Bill of Rights people in Alabama have been pushing for a constitutional carry bill like their neighbor Mississippi already has and has had for many years. Well, they couldn't get it done. This is a compromise. This bill is a compromise to try and shut people up. The Alabama Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's Association and law enforcement officials in Alabama opposed constitutional carry and came out against constitutional carry. Why, Jared?
Because it costs money to get a permit.
Because they get the money. Because the money goes into their coffers. So when you come in and you say, hey, I want to get a permit, here's $300. They say, thanks for the $300. Now we will sell you back your constitutional rights. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you are probably saying, man, this is great. That's awesome. I go in one time, give them $300, fingerprints, photographs, background check, and I get my permit to carry a gun for the rest of my life. I don't have to do it again. That's great. I have that right now, and it costs me nothing. Jared has that right now, and it costs him nothing. Zach has that right now. It costs him nothing. 0 cents. $0.00. That's how much it costs. For me, I have a lifetime concealed carry permit, and it was printed in 1791. What? Really? But Wyoming wasn't a state then. I know. Ladies and gentlemen, if you came to me in the year 2020, or I'm sorry, 2000, 2001, 2002, 1998, and said, hey, check out what Alabama just did. They're doing a shall issue lifetime thing. I would have said, good. That's progress. That is progress. Here in 2021, when Texas and Tennessee borders Alabama, you guys know that, right? Geography and all that. When Texas and Tennessee both just signed constitutional carry bills, when Wyoming and Utah and Montana, and I'm not going to go through the whole list, there's at least 20 states in the United States of America that have constitutional carry. Mississippi does, the neighbor of Alabama. When they have that, see, where we need to go now is away from, we need to wake people up to understand that a permit system is permit. What's the root word from permit? Permission. Permission. Allow. When you hear senators and congressmen and sheriffs and anybody who works for the state, when they start throwing around the words allow, permission, allow, what they've said with their words is that you, the peasant, you are down here. We're up here. You see, we're up here. We're above you. We rule you and we control you. And if you want to do something, you come to us and beg for permission. And we'll decide whether or not we want to give it to you. If you have a senator or a congressman or a sheriff or a mayor or a governor who likes to use the words permission and allow, they believe that language indicates that they believe that they have the authority over you. They rule over you. They govern you. They're not public servants like you guys used to think, all that public servant thing. No, we're in control of you. And that's what a permission slip is. A permission slip establishes the fact, it sets the narrative that the people must come to the government and ask for permission to exercise constitutional rights. And I don't know why or how these sheriffs, and agent, the representatives of the sheriffs, the chief deputies, how they can go out in public and someone says, so you believe the state has the authority to take constitutional rights and hold them hostage, and if people pay ransom to you, you'll give them back. No, we didn't. No, I've never said that. Actually, that's exactly what that is. It's a constitutional right that you're holding hostage, and the only way someone can get it back is if they give you money. That's ransom. You know, it'd be cool, Jared, if someone were because every state in the union has blackmail, and they have laws and statutes that make blackmail illegal, right? Mm-hmm. They make kidnapping and ransom schemes, and all of that. It's in your Alabama revised code, your Ohio revised code, your Wyoming. In there, it's illegal to do what the state does. To take something from someone and ransom it back to them. You're like, I'm going to take something that was yours, and I'm going to keep it. But if you give me enough money, I'll give it back to you. You're like, I would love for someone to read the statute about blackmail and ransom. Read that to the sheriff and say, yeah, according to Alabama revised code, is this in fact the case? And they were like, well, yeah, that's a revised code against extortion. Extortion is illegal. You can't extort people for money. But you do that. No, I don't. Yeah, actually, you do. You're extorting people. You're telling them you can have your rights back after you give me money. Isn't that extortion? That's when they have the deputies escort that reporter from the room. If you guys, this is your homework assignment. If you are living in a state currently that believes that it has the authority to commit extortion, to ransom your rights back to you, I challenge you. You have a revised code. It's available online. Every single revised code. It's called the blank whatever. Ohio revised code, Alabama revised code, whatever. Go look it up. Look up the definition of extortion, ransom, kidnapping, and then compare that to your state's gun permit laws. You're like a wizard. Am I like a wizard? I might be a witch. I think you're a witch. All right, moving on. I got a question for you guys. Are gun control laws based on racism? What? No, how could you possibly say that? Doesn't Paul have LEOSHA credentials? Like
the ability to carry a firearm concealed in all 50 states because
no, I didn't
you have been approved by the king.
No, I didn't.
Based upon your skill set.
I left law enforcement. I did not retire from law enforcement. LEOSHA is for people who have a piece of paper that says
active and
retired and has a pension. I ain't got no pension. And I ain't got no retirement.
I ain't got no pension.
I ain't got no pension. All right. So remember we spoke a while back about North Carolina and their pistol permit. Now when North Carolina says pistol permit, they don't mean concealed carry. They mean you need a piece of paper from the government before you can go into a store and buy a handgun. Not carry the handgun, buy it. And I thought that the good people of North Carolina, I'm sure there's some, were trying to get this overturned. But I simply went to my browser and I typed in North Carolina pistol purchase requirements, right? And what I came up with was the Wake County Sheriff's Office pistol purchase permit application and specifications. They've made it easy for you. They put it on their website. So if you are a peasant, if you're a servant of the crown in North Carolina and you think that you want to buy a handgun, that's fine. You first must go to the website, fill out the application in order to purchase, not carry, to buy it. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know why North Carolina has a requirement to go to the sheriff and ask him for permission to buy, not carry, to buy a handgun? Racism is the answer. Ladies and gentlemen, North Carolina put this law in place after the Civil War to keep black people from owning and concealing handguns. You cannot argue it. It is a fact, and Democrats love this law. Democrats are racist. They are slave owners. They are the originators of the Ku Klux Klan. Democrats voted against the Civil Rights Act. All right. Republicans voted for it. I don't know why black people continue to support Democrats despite their historical, like waist deep, neck deep, chest deep racism. And it's recorded, it's documented, it's historical. It's a fact. Gun control, and how we let them get away with this, I don't know. All right, moving on. All right. So, Jared, did you look that up? Congressional Bill House Bill 4594?
Yep.
That was passed?
No. Introduced in 2019.
See, here we go.
Yes.
So, all right. We got a story from the firearmsblog.com. Firearmblog.com. Go ahead, Jared. It's just, the story is 3 days old, according to the byline.
It says bump stocks are not machine guns. Sixth Circuit vacates GOA versus Garland.
What does that all mean? Help us understand what the heck that means, Jared.
Aiden Johnson, Director of Federal Affairs for the GOA, announced
America.
Via his Twitter yesterday, June 25th, 2021, that the previous judgment regarding Gun Owners of America versus Garland has been vacated via a 3-judge panel. This essentially means that the panel ruled that bump stocks are not machine guns. This is a victory for the Second Amendment community, even if you're not a fan of the bump stock. The battle determining the legality of the bump stocks has been raging on for quite some time, and the GOA has been working to restore these firearms accessories back to legal status as non-machine guns since they were first banned on March 26th of 2019. Okay.
All right. So this is when I have to say to you, we've got to stop. Just if there's any hope for this nation to ever be a representative republic again, we have to take control of the language. Made them illegal. All right. Everyone says, like, if you say someone, blah, 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 bump stock, they'll say, yeah, they're illegal. Okay. And so I will say to you, if you use the term illegal, what does illegal mean?
It's the opposite of legal.
Right. It means that somewhere in the world, there's a book and there's a law in the book that says, thou shalt not, whatever. Can't have this, can't have that, derp, 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 right? Jared, in the United States of America, under our Constitution, how does a bill, you guys, you little kids out there, you didn't watch Schoolhouse Rock, but for those of you that watch Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a bill, I am only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. If you never watched it, you should. I'm not going to sing the whole thing to you. A bill is just a proposal. That's when a senator or a congressman gets together with some of his buddies And they're like, hey, this should be a law, which means, hey, we should take money from people to do this. Remember, every single bill has a bill attached to it. That's why they call it a bill, because it costs money. You're a wizard. I know, I'm a wizard. So which bill in the United States, Jared, how does a bill become a law in the United States?
It goes through the full legal or the full process of introduction to all that stuff, and then finally it
The
gets
House,
passed and
Senate,
signed.
send it to the House,
Yeah,
and then they send it to the chief executive. They have to vote on it. The entire House has to vote on it. Both houses, Senate and Congress. The House of Representatives votes. The Senate votes. If it gets a majority, they send it to the chief executive, who's the governor or the president, and they decide whether or not to sign it, and then it becomes a law, right? Can the president or the governor or the mayor just sit down with his buds and say, you know what? Let's make some laws, man. And
depends on who will let them do it.
well, under the Constitution, the answer is no. Like I said, we need to retake control of our language. So people will tell you, well, bump stocks are illegal. Why? Which bill, and I put this in the show notes and Jared found it for me, which bill became a law in order to make bump stocks illegal? Jared found the bill, a bill that was proposed in 2019. And what is the status of that bill, Jared? It always says there's a status, right?
Just
find the
says
status?
it just says introduced. It doesn't have like a other things.
Actions.
The actions are introduced 10/1/2019.
That's it. It didn't go to the Senate. It didn't come back to the House. It wasn't sent to the president for a signature. Ergo, when I asked this question, I asked someone on the internet today. They said, well, bump stocks are still illegal. And I said, which bill, what's the number of the bill that was passed in order to make them illegal? As obviously being a rhetorical question, because the answer is, well, there wasn't one. Then how are they illegal? How are they illegal if there wasn't a bill passed? How are they illegal if there's not a bill? How is there law against them if no bill was passed to make them illegal? How does that work? Jared, do you know? Zach, do you know? Audience, do you know? And this is when you have to stop and think. This is when the synapses start firing. You're like, oh, hang on, wizard. You're telling me that for something to be illegal, that we have to go through the legal process and actually pass a law, and then that law has to jive with the Constitution of the United States. And if it jives with the Constitution, then it's a law? But yeah, exactly. But this is exactly where I wanted to go at the very beginning of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I said the bump stock ban is not about bump stocks. No, stop. The quote unquote bump stock ban is about setting precedent that gives the AFT or the BATFE MOUSC, depending on what you want to, how you feel today, gives an unelected federal bureaucracy controlled by the executive branch the authority to create law on their own with no judicial or no congressional or senatorial oversight. And what we've been saying for 2 or 3 years now to all you, Mom, the bump stock's a stupid range toy, and who cares anyway? And why don't you just follow the rules and apply and get your permit and your license and and if you really want a machine gun that bad, just follow the rules and do it right. You guys know that this bump stock thing was was cheating. It was trying to get around the rules. Okay. No, you know what's cheating? You know what's getting around the rules? Allowing an unelected bureaucracy to create de facto laws through, quote, regulation. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we need to remind the people in Washington and the people in our state capitals once in a while that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights were not put in place to determine what the citizens are and are not allowed to do. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights were put in place to control and regulate the government, not the citizen. The Bill of Rights puts restrictions on the government. When leftists and liberal crapbags say to you, you think the Second Amendment gives you the right to own a machine gun? No, I don't. The Second Amendment doesn't give me the right to do anything. Why? Well, glad we're on the same page. Now, the Second Amendment restricts the authority of the government. It tells them what they're not allowed to do. You see, the Second Amendment's not about hunting. It's not about AR-15s. It's not about handguns or concealed carry. The Second Amendment's not about any of that stuff. You're like, no, that's what it's about. It's about concealed carry and rifles. No, it's not. The Second Amendment says, hey, government, fornicate in another direction. You don't have the authority to do that. End of story. You see, the First Amendment doesn't give you the right to speak your mind. The First Amendment doesn't give you the right to worship in the place of your choice. The First Amendment says to the government, bugger off, sod off. I can say that in America. I'm probably going to be censored in England, in merry old England. They're like, you can't say sod off. Not S-A-W-E. Did he say S-A-W-E-D? Sawed off like a sawed-off shotgun? No. I said sod off. The First Amendment doesn't say what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say and where you're allowed to worship and what you're not allowed to worship. No, the First Amendment says to the government, you have no say in it. If people want to worship tree frogs, you have no say in whether they worship tree frogs or not. If people want to post a blog that just says fornicate, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All right. If they want to do that, you have no say in that. There's no community standards. Okay. You have no say in it. And until we grab control of the language in our country and understand that words mean things and understand that we can't let people tell us that something's illegal when there has been no constitutional process put in place. Bump stocks, I'm going to say it. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Bump stocks are not illegal in the United States of America. Because in order for them to be illegal, that means we would have had to go through the constitutional process of submitting a bill, public hearings, voting, and the signature of the chief executive in order to make it a law. That didn't happen. The bump stock battle is not about bump stocks. It's about whether or not you're going to give the central government the authority to arbitrarily create rules and regulations and enforce them as laws. That's what it's about. And that's the end of that story. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're listening louder. I hope you make your friends and neighbors listen louder. We will not have a constitutional republic until we gain control of the language and force people to use the language correctly. And when we say things like, well, no, but it's illegal. How's it illegal? Well, because some guy at the AFT said it was. Oh, well, crap. I didn't know that was a country in which we live now. I didn't know that we just arbitrarily did that. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Tomorrow, we're going to be back with a grad program bonus hour. You know you want to be here. We're going to talk about PT. PT should hurt. It should? It should. And actually, as soon as we shut these microphones off, I'm going to go do some PT. So there you go. We're going to talk about leadership and a lot of more things. You should be a member of the grad program, and you should avail yourself to it every day. If you want to, Jared's going to tell you how. Listen up.
Super easy. Go to getsotg.com. All of the information is there for you. And you can even you can try it out for, I think, 21 days or 30 days or something for $1. So
14.
Even if it's just 7 days, it's only $1. Go try it out. If it's not a good fit for you, you don't have to stay. We don't rope you in. There's no contracts that are signed that keep you in there for 6 months or whatever. So just try it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then we can move on.
There you go. If you show up and you listen for a week or two and you don't like it, we don't want you to be here. And we didn't even talk about the moose. All right, we're going to talk about Bullwinkle tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow we're going to talk about my close encounter with Bullwinkle. And you're like, what? Of what does this man speak? Tune in tomorrow and you find out. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.